Hello everyone, my name is Pam Sloan and I am in the third year Doctorate in Ministry program at Corban University in Turner, Oregon. For this year's presentation, I selected A Higher Standard, Leadership Strategies from America's First Female Four-Star General. This book is written by General Anne Dunwoody, retired, with Tamago Collins. The book has 273 pages and it holds 11 chapters. I chose this book as I too am an Army veteran, but a non-commissioned officer, NCO, from Singapore. Surprisingly, I found quite a bit of similarities between our lives. She was a quartermaster, and I started as a quartermaster's clerk in an infantry unit. After that, I had a short detour to the Singapore Air Force, and then I finally returned to the Army in the artillery unit. In this first slide is a list of promotions that Anne Dunwoody received. First, let me introduce you to General Dunwoody. She was born in January 1953 and graduated from high school in June of 1971. In June 1974, the General attended the Army's Women College Junior Program. Initially, the Army was a 2-year detour on the road to a fitness profession. Her desire was to become an athletic coach. However, after 2 years into it, she realized that from the day she first donned her uniform, soldiering was all she ever wanted to do. The Army gave her the greatest coaching job, coaching a team of 69,000. Anne Dunwoody is an Army brat. Her father graduated from West Point and joined the U.S. Army just in time for World War II. He was a stubborn war fighter and was a 2-time Purple Heart recipient of the Distinguished Service Cross for valor during his service in World War II, Korean War, and Vietnam War. Her father would joke that the reason he earned his second Purple Heart was because he was a slow learner. Anne explains that her father instilled in her military values and says that her dad was her first 4-star teacher. He was her General George Washington. This man was in the greatest generation that was selfless and never sought credit in return. Her father died at the age of 96 in 2015. General Dunwoody's mother raised 6 children while her dad served the country. Her mother was a real hero of the family and a woman of great faith. She taught the children to strive for better, the importance of self-confidence and perseverance. She died at the age of 82 in 2006. General Dunwoody's brother Buck was a West Point grad. Her sister Sue became the 3rd helicopter pilot in the Army's history and retired as lieutenant colonel, and her husband retired as colonel. Their daughter holds the rank of a major and is a fighter pilot. General Dunwoody is married to Colonel Craig Brodsky, who has been quite supportive of her career, and she explains that he is her soulmate. He has been a lifelong Air Force special operator and has been more influential during her career than anyone else. They have been together for 20 years and survived countless months apart during various deployments and assignments around the world. The book is not a manual about how to become a general or a secret recipe for becoming a great leader. General Dunwoody explains that some people think that great leaders are born, whereas others think that leadership can be taught. Whatever we think, General Dunwoody says that true leaders never stop learning, refining, growing, and adapting, and that is the primary focus of the book. She chose to name the book A Higher Standard, as the words became the foundation of her leadership philosophy. and a central part of how she tried to live her life. She said that she did not invent it and was not born with it. She continues that it became instilled in her through the 60 plus years of relationships with her husband, her family, her friends, coaches, and soldiers. General Dunwoody discovered that the military not only encourages soldiers to meet their standards, but also rewards those who exceed them, unlike the civilian sectors. Go-getters and achievers are told to just do their jobs. In the military, overachievers are usually respected for raising the bar. They run faster, they do more push-ups, and are recognized with well-earned qualification badges, patches, and decorations. No one ever frowns upon the fastest runner or the most accurate shooter. They want them on their team. This is a dangerous profession, and you want the best of the best on your side, on and off the battlefield. There are many exciting episodes that General Dunwoody shares in the book, but for the sake of time, I will be highlighting only some of her experiences and statements on leadership. First of all, she never saw herself as a female, but as a soldier. She just wanted to be the best soldier and leader she could be. People would ask her how she got promoted in a male-dominant institution. She's proud to be the first, but says that there have been many dedicated and deserving women war fighters. She continues that many male mentors fought for her throughout her career. She has never reported to a woman and worked for male leaders who either believed in her or didn't. The lesson she learned in the military is applicable in all facets of life. General Dunwoody shared with the leaders of Coca-Cola that the military and their company had so much in common in size, in scope, global presence, and budget. The biggest difference between the distribution processes is that they will not be getting shot at or blown up while trying to deliver the products. General Dunwoody says what is clear for her is there is a higher standard that provides the foundation upon which every effective leadership journey is built. That is the difference between the leaders who excel and the leaders who fail. It is their thought processes, attention to detail, and the execution that enables them to inspire and motivate their workforce to create and sustain high-performing, successful organizations. She continues that not everyone are level 5 leaders, but you do need level 5 leaders to inspire and motivate those around you. Meeting the standard is a base requirement. It's average performance. General Dunwoody tells the story of a young man who risked his life to save his squad leader and comrades when they were ambushed in the most dangerous region of Afghanistan. Specialist Salvatore Sal Agustin Ginta is an American hero and yet took no credit for saving the lives of several soldiers. The army does not recruit superheroes. Ginta was just like many other high schoolers in search of their next adventure. Ginta will always serve as an example of what it means to redefine average. It took General Dunwoody decades into her career to understand the magic of average. She says a kid from the cornfields of Iowa set the standard as he led under the deadliest circumstances. She explains the key is to teach the soldiers to be better. They should meet the standards, but that's only the starting point. Good soldiers know the importance of rising above and beyond. Success has no ceiling. She shares 3 specific creeds that made her want to be the best she could be and to never be the one to let the team down. She carried with her a copy of the Quartermaster Creed, Airborne Creed, and rigor pledge. Quartermaster Creed: I can shape the course of combat, change the outcome of battle. This creed has resonated with her for almost 30 years. The rigor pledge: I will be sure always. I will remember that the other man's life is as dear to him as mine is to me. This pledge gives her chills as she thinks of American heroes such as Specialist Ginter. The Airborne Creed: I am an airborne trooper, a paratrooper. In battle I fear no foe's ability, nor underestimate his prowess, power, and guile. I am a trooper of the sky. I am my nation's best. In peace and war I never fail. Anywhere, anytime, and in anything. In 2005, General Peter Shoemaker, the Chief of Staff of the U.S. Army, delivered a new warrior ethos, the Soldier's Creed. This creed connects all soldiers. General Dunwoody says she will proudly wear her quartermaster regimental crest, her rigger wings, and the airborne wings. She's equally proud of her dog tags as she is of her 4 stars. In June of 1978, 2nd Lieutenant Dunwoody meets her first platoon sergeant who changed her life. He did not see her as a petite blonde woman all dressed up trying to play army, but he saw a soldier in the making. He taught her the power of belief. General Dunwoody says when someone believes in you and says it, you want to do your best and prove them they are right. She dedicated a chapter about Sergeant First Class Wendell Bowen. Sergeant Bowen told her to never ignore a mistake. If you do not correct it, you just set a new lower standard. You never settle for less than your best. He also taught her the human dimension of dealing with troubled soldiers, especially during a period of heavy drug use in the military. She believes that most soldiers can learn from slip-ups. Although she was higher in rank than Sergeant Bowen, there is the unspoken word in the military that NCOs are there to train the incoming new lieutenants. She believes that men like Sergeant Bowen would be crucial to rebuilding an army damaged by the Vietnam War and battles that continue. It is the NCOs that pick up the pieces of war. They break it down and they rebuild soldiers into leaders. They train war fighters. She professes there was no greater teacher than Sergeant Bowen. Unfortunately, Sergeant Bowen passed away a year before she became a 4-star general. In Chapter 4, the book is dedicated to women. Prior to 9/11, the policy on women in combat was clear, that they were not allowed in direct ground combat action. General Dunwoody shares that females were used in combat in other nations. She believes the military should be gender blind, since the reality today is that there is no front lines as cities and neighborhoods are the battlefields. In Chapter 7, she shows the percentage of enlisted women has grown 7-fold since the end of the draft in 1973. As of 2010, 14% of the enlisted force were women, and 16% were women commissioned officers. Female minorities are finding greater opportunities. Black females at 31% and Hispanic females at 16.9% represented nearly half of the females on active duty, while the same categories of males make up less than 30%. In the Afterthoughts chapter of the book, General Dunwoody points out the shrinkage in the military. She proposes a national service program. in which every 18 to 20-year-old would serve for at least 1 year. Such a program has been in existence in Singapore for many decades now. There are many advantages to this program, from molding young men and women to protecting our beloved nation. In Chapter 6, General Dunwoody shares that throughout her career, she had people working behind the curtain to help her. She, in return, did the same thing for her subordinates. She shares the importance of senior leaders in developing other leaders. General Dunwoody stresses that good leaders motivate by being seen, by communicating, by engaging, and by taking care of their employees. Good leaders set and enforce high standards. If you don't correct it on the spot, you set a lower standard. Here she shares a funny incident where a retired 4-star general was driving behind a garbage truck one day. The driver was causing a mess as trash swirled out of the truck. The truck had a sign that read, "How's my driving? Call XXX to report any problem." The general called the number, spoke to the manager, and asked, "Are you in the trash collection or trash distribution business?" That was really funny. Good leaders reward good performance and correct poor performance. This is two of the most important aspects of day-to-day leadership. Most organizations have 10% top-notch performers, your go-to people, who are usually overworked and they will deliver. The next 10% are substandard performers. They are sick, lame, or just plain lazy. These might be soldiers who are arrested and the judge gave them the option of going to jail or joining the army. The remainder 80% see it all. They come to work wanting to do their job and not wanting to get into trouble. They don't give their best, but just turn up to do their job. These are your average soldiers who try to meet the standard. General Dunwoody explains that you need to build a high-performing organization, one person at a time. Recognizing and rewarding good behavior is the key, along with taking noticeable corrective action. As for the bottom 10%, two things need to happen: reprimand and eventually eliminate, or they have a life-changing experience because a supervisor cares and works hard with them. General Dunwoody stresses the importance of building a recognizable brand. In the military, members are branded by the uniforms and badges they wear. When she received her 4th star, she became the leader of the largest logistics organization in the military, the U.S. Army Materiel Command, AMC, that was responsible for $60 billion. She was proud to sew the Army Materiel Command patch on her uniform, with 69,000 strong, operating in 50 states and 145 countries. If a soldier shoots it, drives it, flies it, wears it, or eats it, the AMC provides it. She found that only 3% were branded. The other 97% were civilians with no military identifiable brand. There was no picture or sign of the AMC emblem as she visited subordinate commands. She launched the AMC branding campaign. Starter kits were sent all around the world that included flags, lapel pins, and signs. All military personnel were required to wear the AMC patch. Civilians had access to an AMC lapel pin. Soon, everyone were wearing them. People attending client meetings could easily be identified with AMC. AMC flags were flown and emblems painted on facilities. Pride is not something you can order up. It's something the workforce has to feel. Morale soared, and people knew they were part of a winning team at the AMC. As General Dunwoody led the AMC, fellow four-star active duty and retired brethren continue to reach out to help where they can. General Gordon Sullivan, the former Chief of Staff of the Army, gave her advice about vision for the command. With her team, she designed a vision statement. And this was going to be the unifier. The vision became the most powerful tool she had ever used to lead and motivate her people. The vision slide became known as the Yellow Brick Road. For that to be a reality, the workforce has to believe in the vision and the purpose of the outfit. They have to visualize how they fit in the overall picture. General Dunwoody added that for her, high performance means doing routine things in an outstanding manner routinely. When you take command in the Army, your most important job is to coach. General Dunwoody and her team developed the bullet train as the next phase of the Yellow Brick Road. It was time to speed into the future. The train articulated what needed to be accomplished by 2020 to truly be a globally networked logistics command. In Chapter 11, General Dunwoody shows the importance of building the bench, the importance of succession planning. Everyone is replaceable. Do you have players ready to step in when inevitable changes occur? Throughout the military ranks, soldiers are being developed and are developing others. The greatest accomplishment is not how many parachute jumps you made, how many wars you fought, or how many medals you earned. But our legacy will be measured by the depth and the quality of the leaders we develop. General Dunwoody says that it has been a wonderful journey. If she had to do it all over again, she would not change a thing. She tried her very best to live to a higher standard and left the military on her own terms, with no reservations or remorse. In my last slide, I have added a link to one of the General's favorite songs, I'm Proud to Be an American, by Lee Greenwood. I am pleased to have selected this book, A Higher Standard, Leadership Strategies from America's First Female Four-Star General. General Dunwoody, thank you for writing the book. And more importantly, thank you for your service, ma'am. It will not be forgotten. God bless you and your family.